there's one called Morcane Temple where you have to pick up sacred artifact from. There's a whole storyline on just about everything in the game. I won't go through it. And whoever's holding the artifact acquires points over time. And if you take the artifact, you get points. But if you kill the person on the opposite team that's holding the artifact, you also get points. And there's just a whole bunch of different types of games like that.
Something like holding a statue or something like that.
Yeah, very similar to that.
When did you start gaming? What game did you start with? As far as MMOs?
As far as MMOs, I'd say my very first one was probably Risk Your Life.
Okay. So, and Blinding Arrow was that's where you started with Blinding Arrow?
I actually started playing RYL 1 back when it was in beta for the Malaysian servers. So I've been playing RYL since really it first came out.
What year was that, or when was that?
Oh, geez. 6 years, between 4 and 6 years ago, I'd say. I think maybe even longer than that. It was a long time ago. That game has been around for a long time. It had a lot of suspected hopes and dreams, but a lot of that never went through.
Well, if they had been able to stick with it. But, the problem, of course, is you can't have much over 1,000 people or 1,500 on the server. So the megabucks like, wow, this weren't going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's what got frustrating for them. They thought it was going to be, megabucks. And it's still going on the private servers. I mean, RWL Tartarus is still going pretty good. It's a busy server. And, if there's 100 people on there, it's a lot of people. That's all they need. But it's of course, that's no comparison to the major games like WoW.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess Warhammer too. How many people are usually playing at a time? Of course, you got multiple servers.
Yeah, the fan base isn't as big as World of Warcraft yet, but there are some servers that are pretty full just about all the time, and saying, you should at least have 2 to 3 war bands going for each tier. You're talking, so that'd be around 800 people on average for a lot of the servers.
Yeah.
Not counting the people that are leveling or the people that are doing scenarios or people just sitting around to shoot the bull.
What I'm waiting for is someone to come up with the FPR, first-person role-player style play like RWL had, and then in a more advanced game with bigger maps. And
I supposedly Darkfall is going to try to deliver something like that. I'm thinking what they're trying to do with it is type of an Elder Scrolls, Oblivion type feel, but massively multiplayer. And
they're trying, but there's been a lot of hopes up for them. But now, the time is passing now, and when you spend that long developing a game, computers and everything have gone past your programming.
Exactly.
People need to get it somehow. They need to get down to where their development time is a year on a game, because computers are advancing so fast.
Exactly.
People are getting much more. People can handle really much more graphics, much more intense graphics than they could a few years ago. When it started, when it started like 10 years ago or something. That's the situation with RWL. It needs a complete code rewrite. It's a
for sure.
old-fashioned
game. The biggest problem Darkfall ran into was it ran out of money really early in the stages of development, and the guy handling it basically said, I give up, and handed it off to someone else who apparently has got the ball rolling, because it's set to release on the 25th. They're not going to do an open beta, as far as I know, and I don't believe there's one in commencement now, and there's not going to be a trial. So I'm going to wait for some reviews before I try to purchase it. I am curious just because they're saying that it's going to be a large-scale battle-type game, similar to Star Wars Galaxies was before it kind of went downhill. That game used to be probably one of the most popular PvP MMOs out there. And if it can deliver the gameplay, then I think people will be able to get past the fact that it's a little outdated.
I definitely want to try it. I wouldn't let it go by if they can have open beta or release it. Of course, I'm definitely going to try it. But yeah, I definitely try before I buy.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it would be great if it could live up to the expectations. I mean, it's fantastic with horses and everything, you know. But I had really high hopes for Age of Conan, and then they, you know, what turned me off right from the first was you're steering with the A and the D key, and I want to steer with my mouse like an FPS, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And so that threw me off from that right there. I mean, I'd rather go back and play Battlefield 2. You know, and I can jump right in and, you know, find action immediately in Battlefield. Do you ever play Battlefield?
I played it a couple times. I played a trial of it. I wasn't very good at it, and I had a little bit of lag problems, but I've seen people play on a decent connection, and it looks like a lot of fun.
Well, yeah, you need and you get local servers, so that takes care of the lag. I mean, you want to have a ping of under 100, and it takes some skill, definitely. And I mean, I'm constantly trying to improve my skill. I'd like to be one of the top players, but it's you got to really have fast reaction time and have all your skills down to where you can do things without thinking. I keep forgetting to pull my knife out, you know, at times when I'm up close or run into an enemy, and I'm standing there trying to fire my gun. I should be grabbing my knife and, you know, stabbing them, things like that. So you got to think really fast and be fast on your feet. So I usually run up points by being a medic or something, healing and throwing medic bags down, and, you know, I can get by that way. Any other games interesting you're into?
The only other game I'm currently playing right now is Call of Duty 5, World at War. As far as FPS goes, it's probably one of the most entertaining I've played. Definitely the best World War II shooter I've played. It basically took Call of Duty 4 and turned it into a World War II scenario with a few improvements and more perks and that type of thing. But it's a lot of fun. I'm enjoying it.
Do they have a trial?
I'm not entirely sure.
What's the web address or website?
There's a few different websites you can go to. I believe the most popular is, you could probably just go to callofduty.com. That'll be the official one, and it'll take you to, it'll ask you for your birth date because it is a mature game, and so on and so forth. So, let's see here. But they have basically every Call of Duty game on.
So you like that better? You like that better than Battlefield 2?
I wouldn't say better. Battlefield 2 is kind of a different style of shooter. It's more on a large scale, more vehicles, that type of thing. But as far as a simplistic, you know, man-to-man FPS with one vehicle involved and keeping it probably 10 people on each side, maybe 15 people on each side, rather, you know, versus Battlefield's 30 on each side, or as high as it can get. So they're kind of different genres, but I think Battlefield dominates its genre as far as an FPS goes.
Well, the interesting thing about, you mentioned the vehicles, I mean, what's really become popular now in Battlefield 2 is the infantry-only servers. I mean, I almost never play with their vehicles anymore. And those are the most popular servers, it seems like.
Mm-hmm.
What about Crysis? Did you try Crysis?
I did try it. I wasn't too impressed with it, to be honest. I didn't get to play the multiplayer version of it that Robbie was talking about on the last episode, or whatever, last session, whatever you'd like to call it. I think the multiplayer would be a lot of fun because I really enjoyed the single-player aspect of it. It's got great gameplay, but it's just the campaign is 3 hours if you're an expert, you know, not an expert, but a hardcore gamer. Maybe 6 if you're kind of new to the whole genre of FPS. Yeah. So if they would have added a little more content in, I think it would have been a lot more successful.
Well, it's also extremely demanding on gear. I mean, my equipment, my rig is not up to it. So with my frame rate, I get seasick. And then I was thinking, what in the world is going on? I'm getting seasick playing this game. And then I Googled, and you know, a lot of people are, because they're getting their equipment's not good enough for a high frame rate, and with a low frame rate, it's jumping a bit and it's making people seasick. So I had to give it up. But hopefully, when I get a new card, maybe a new rig, I'll be able to get back into it. Oh, we just got a couple of minutes here. If you'd like to say anything else about bring any other games up, or
yeah, just a quick little something for any gamers listening that enjoy the old style point and click type of MMO